Hi there. Welcome to the Pesky Pool Show. I'm Jerry. I'm your host. In this show, we'll be talking daily about the Boston Red Sox and the American League East. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's not life and death. So, by the way, if you want to send a comment or an outrage at the end and you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the starting staffs in the American League East and the starting lineups, and we're going to be rating them 5-1. We'll also touch on a few other things as the show goes on. But let's start off with the starting staffs in the American League East. Number 5, I have the Baltimore Orioles. Now, the Orioles could have gone out and made a big trade this offseason or signed a free agent. Framber Valdez was available. And they could have traded with Milwaukee and gotten an ace there, but they didn't. They decided to make a smaller trade and get Shane Baz, who I like and has got great stuff. But I always am cautious when Tampa gets rid of someone. They never seem to pay a price for it. And the Orioles just signed Shane Baz to 5 more years. So Shane Baz to 5 more years. So we'll have to see how that goes. They've also got Kyle Bradish as a starter and Trevor Rogers. Now, Trevor Rogers had a great second half last year where he was really ace material. But for the 5 years previous to that, he was basically a journeyman pitcher. So who is he? Is he the starter from the end of last year, or is he the guy that he was with 4 or 5 years before that? Time will tell. The Orioles certainly hope he was the guy from the end of last year and the first start of this year. Other starters for the Orioles are Chris Bassitt, who I think is basically a 500 pitcher. He's going to get you a lot of innings, which is helpful for your bullpen. But at the end of the year, if he's anything more than 13-12 or 12-13, you're doing great. And last but not least, they've got Zach Eflin. Now, Zach Eflin has got ability. I know he's on the disabled list right now. And personal privilege here, I'm not worried about guys that are on the disabled list right now. They'll be back. If it's season ending, that's a different story. But that's not the case with Zach. Now, the number 4 pitcher is, fourth staff is the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay has a very good staff. And if they were in another division, they'd be very good. But they're not. They're in the American League East, which has got 3 powerful pitching staffs ahead of them. So let's take a look at who Tampa Bay throws out there. They throw Shane McClanahan, who's got great stuff coming off an injury, but he's still very, very good. Drew Rasmussen, another very, very good pitcher. Ryan Peptate, Steven Matz, and Nick Martinez. They'll win some games for them. They'll be very competitive for them. The problem for them, once again, as I said, is the games they play in the American League East are very, very difficult. My number 3 team in the American League East is a big surprise. It's the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, they're the defending American League champions and really coulda, woulda, shoulda won the World Series last year. Base running, I thought, mistake at the end of the game. Kiner-Falefa was too close to the third base bag, or they would have won the World Series against the Dodgers. But they didn't. So what did they do? They went out and got themselves an ace in Dylan Cease. They paid a lot of money for him and gave him a lot of years, a lot more than most teams would be willing to give for starting pitching these days. They've also got Kevin Gausman. I like Kevin Gausman a lot. I've liked him since he was with the Orioles, and then he went to San Francisco. He's a very dependable starter. He's a good teammate. He's going to pitch a lot of innings. He's going to win a lot of games. Their number 3 pitcher is Trey Yesavage. Now, Trey has the ability to be an ace. No question about that. We saw that in the playoffs and World Series last year. He's only 21 years old. Great stuff. My caveat is that Trey has never thrown 30 starts in a season. And as the season winds down, Toronto's going to have to be very careful with him. Young pitchers have a real difficult time the first time around when they're going out that many innings. Toronto also has Cody Pence, currently injured, and Jose Berrios, currently injured. Once again, I'm not letting that bother me, but it's something to keep an eye on. My number 2 staff in the American League East is the Boston Red Sox. They are very close to being number 1 because of Garrett Crochet being at the top of their rotation. I think he's the best starter in the American League East. At worst, this number 2 starter in the American League period. They went out and got Ranger Suarez, who's looked horrible in spring training. The WBC seemed to really set him back, so it might take Ranger a little while to get accustomed to Boston and back in his groove. The number 3 pitcher is Sonny Gray. Sonny is a winner. Not a big winner, but he's going to win 13, 14 games for you, strike out 200 and walk less than 80. So I'm pretty happy for the Red Sox to have him. Number 4 is Brian Bayo, a guy that they thought at one time would be a number 1, but he's never quite lived up to that. Last year was his best season. Let's see what he can do this year, if he can build on that or if he regresses to what he was before that. Number 5 is Connolly Early. Connolly Early has great stuff. Throw him in with the Trey Yasevich and later Cam Schlittler, guys that have big ability, but once again have never thrown 30 starts in a season. That leaves us the number 1 team in the American League East, and that's the New York Yankees. That, but as time goes on, this kid's got big abilities. He's got a big fastball. His off-speed stuff is very good. I like him a lot. Number 4 and 5, well, there isn't a starting team in the American League that's got a better number 4 than Carlos Rodon. Seattle would give him a run, but other than that, Carlos is very, very good. He's currently injured, but I'm not letting that bother me, as is the number 5 guy, Lewis Heel, who's coming off an injury, pitched a little bit last year. They've also got Yarbrough. They've also got Warren. So they go pretty deep. Not quite as deep as the Red Sox when you're getting down to 9 and 10, but still, I think for the first 7, they are better. And that's why I have them as ranked as the top pitching staff in the American League East. Now, let's take a look at the hitters. The number 5 hitting team in the American League is the Tampa Bay Rays. And I'm troubled to say that because they've got Caminero, Javier Caminero, Junior Caminero, and he's really good. I mean, borderline superstar. It's the rest of their lineup that's, I think, is lacking. And because of that, I can't rake them all that high. The Red Sox I have as number 4. The Red Sox lost Bregman, and I think that's a big loss. Now, they replaced him with Caleb Durbin, who, as we speak, hasn't got a hit yet in 6 games. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some movement towards bringing up one of their minor leaguers to play second base and move Meyer over to third. They haven't hit and they haven't fielded so well so far. So there's going to be some changes there. They did do a good move in getting Gonzalez to play first base. In the outfield, they've got 2 stars. Roman Anthony is a potential superstar in my book. One of the best players I've seen the Red Sox bring up in my 70 years of life. And they, Willie Abreu out in right field, a 2-time Gold Glove winner, is also a power hitter. So I like him a lot. We'll have to see how that manifests itself over time. Number 3 on my list is the Baltimore Orioles, who went out and got a lot of hitting. They went out and signed Pete Alonso to a big contract, and in that ballpark, he'll hit a lot of home runs, both to left and to right. They've got Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westbrook in the infield, very, very good. In the outfield, they went out and got Taylor Ward, who's going to hit them 30 home runs. They've got Colton Cowser, Tyler O'Neill, and Paseo to be their DH. He'll also catch to go with Roachman. So they've got a very, very solid lineup. I really think had they gone out and gotten that ace pitcher that I talked about in the earlier segment, they'd be in really good shape in the American League. It'll be in the East. It'll depend on what happens. The number 2 team in the American League East is the Toronto Blue Jays offensively. Any team that's got Vladimir Guerrero starts off on third base. They've got a new kid from Japan named Okamoto, who looks to be a very good hitter. And I always have liked Barger and George Springer. So their offense is very, very good. They won't have trouble scoring runs this year. Sadly, I have the Yankees as also the best offensive team in the American League. Any team that starts off with Aaron Judge, you're going to score a lot of runs as long as he stays healthy. And he's not alone. Giancarlo Stanton has really come back from his injuries and looks like a formidable threat. I would not be scared to say that if there was 2 outs and 2 on with 2 out in the 9th inning and the Red Sox were pitching, I'd be more afraid of Stanton than I am of Judge. He just seems to come through in the clutch a little bit more than Judge does. But that's not all. They've got Cody Bellinger, Ben Rice, those are very, very good offensive players. Their catching is always good. They seem to have a plethora of guys in the minor leagues that are good catchers. They can trade them and get guys on a regular basis. So that's where I see the Yankees as having the best pitching staff and the best hitting in the American League. Probably means they probably should finish first. So that's where we are, and that's where this show ends. So once again, if you like the show, please hit like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps us with the algorithm. In the next show, we're going to talk about who's the best managers in the American League East, along with a few other things. And I can't wait to see you then.